Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Lisa Melendy. I'm the Director of Athletics here at Williams, and we're just excited to see you and hope to answer some of your questions today or allay some of your fears. If you have any concerns about entrusting your children to us, you should not have any fears, and that we're just going to share with you a little bit about what our program is about here at Williams, and again, there'll be time at the end for some questions. Just want to talk a little bit first just the logistics of our program or the size of it. We have 32 varsity teams. We have close to 750 athletes participating. Intramurals, club sports, physical education are all a part of what happens within our department, and our coaches are involved with most of these activities. Really focused on it's included in that type of idea of self-discovery and growing as individuals as well as teammates. Really think about how we define success here, and it is in the ways that are listed here: academic growth, community engagement, successful teaching of our coaches, learning more about their sport, their own personal development, as well as adding to their well-being while they're here on campus. And again, we're really hoping that our coaches and this experience imparts passion for the sport that they're playing and they're involved with, in the same way that hope our classroom professors are going to excite students about the content and the material. We aim to do that as well with our athletic program. And a lot of it is about those relationships they build with their teammates. There's nothing more special than that. I'll talk a little bit about that, and I'm sure our coaches will. And a lot of that is, again, caring for each other, creating a support system. The beauty of being on a team when you arrive at college is you have a ready set group of people, coaches and students and support networks to help support your athlete and help them feel a part of the community right from the jump. We really focus mostly on building teams here. A lot of your students may have played on club teams or travel squads or an individual sport and haven't had as much of a high school team experience as you might have had in the past, some of you might have had in the past. And so again, we're really talking to our student athletes about being a part of the team, putting the team first, thinking about the whole while they're here. And you know, I know that heading off to college and dropping a child off at college is a momentous experience. It's a big day. I've done it 3 times in the past 7 years, so I've been in these seats. Well, I've always been up here, but I've had the experience of dropping students off and all the worries that go with that, and they were all college athletes. So I've been, again, through this whole program. I've traveled to lots of away games, many club and travel teams, too many to mention, lots of water bottles, lots of laundry, lots of eating at fast food restaurants, while trying to be fueled for the next competition. But so I know you've done a lot to get your children here. And you know, just we all want what's best for the students here once they're here. And again, I said the purpose of the panel is to sort of hear who is here and a small sampling of our coaching staff, although they are representative of our other folks, of what your children could expect. And we also want to just talk to you a little bit about how to be a positive part of this team and what your role might look like, and it might be different than it was when you were trying to get here. So this is a period of transition, obviously, for the students, and we're just trying to think, how do we partner with you? We're all trying to think, how do we best help these children, your students, to transition to college life, and how do we help them navigate this new landscape? You know, we know that they all love sports, and they all want to be engaged, and they've all had a lot of success, both academically and athletically, when they're getting here. And one of the things that I've shared over time is that I've learned that sometimes parents and coaches don't see the actual competition and game the same way because they're looking at it with a different lens. You know, if you're looking at it through the lens of a parent, you're seeing it one way. If you're looking at it as a coach, again, you're really thinking about whole team perspective. And I've shared this anecdote, but again, they keep telling me to share it again, so you guys need to tell me to nix it. But so I coached soccer here for 17 years, and you know, I learned to watch the game as a coach. I learned to watch it strategically, think about adjustments, to see, you know, if how's the team moving? How's each member moving within the team? And then my children started playing sports, and my daughter's on a travel soccer team, and I'm out at a game, traveled way too far to watch her play soccer, and she's not in the game at the start of the game, and I'm watching it, and I'm seeing as the team, you know, in transition, getting up on offense, are they making the right runs, they lose the ball, where are they on defense, are they getting in position? And then my daughter came into the game, and she was the only person on the field. and I'm just watching her. And that was that moment I had this, honestly, an epiphany where I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching the game as a parent, and it's totally different. And therefore, your impression of the game doesn't always line up with the coach's impression of the game. So just something to be mindful of and aware of. How many of you coached your children prior to getting here? That's a smaller number than usual. Yeah, so part of that is also, you've been really invested and involved, and how do you navigate for yourself what that change might look like now that they're here and have these professional coaches in front of them. Williams students are all overachievers. They're all, like I said before, highly academically accomplished, athletically accomplished, and this place can be stressful because you're not going to be necessarily as successful in the ways that you were in the past. And so we talk a lot about how are we redefining success for them? How are we thinking about what it looks like? First of all, I just share with you the statistic, 7% of high school athletes play college sports. So just being on a college team is a major accomplishment in and of itself. And just being, prepared to support your child and make it the most rewarding experience as possible. Focusing on the team more than the individual, as I've said a few times. If you can stay away from checking stats or counting minutes, and really just help the student focus on the team experience, the great friends, the great memories, the travel, the trips, the successes and failures of the team, and being a part of that, it really helps a lot. And we have found that if you can accept your child's role on the team, it's easier for them to accept their role in the team. They don't want to disappoint you. As I said, a lot of you have invested a lot of time and energy into their athletic career. You're their biggest fans. That's fantastic. But now again, you get to just be a fan and let them be a part of this new experience and find their own way and advocate for themselves and set their own goals, because they might change a bit here from what they were before they came. I'm just going to introduce our coaches and let them share a little bit about what their team experience is about and what they're hoping for your student athletes and what they try to accomplish through their coaching. So I'll start with Kevin App. Let me introduce you all first. Kevin App is our men's basketball coach. Meghan Gillis, women's ice hockey, and Nate Hoey, women's track and field, and they'll speak to you in that order.
Welcome. So Monday morning, I woke up to early morning text message. It said, thanks for changing my life. Heck of a way to start the week, right? Yeah, I might just text it to myself each week. But I had a different, kind of talk planned. But I thought that message, really said it best about, what being a student athlete, what your sons and daughters are beginning today, can really truly be about. You're going to hear from my colleagues about how we teach, what we teach, the great resources we have at Williams. But the heart of what we do here at Williams, in different ways, different games, different activities, is really just to attempt to create something memorable and transformational for your sons and daughters. Now listen, I can assure you I'm probably not even the best coach on this panel. I can assure you the young man who sent me that text would have had a fantastic life, been successful, all right, without the connection we had here at Williams. So why did he send that message to me Monday morning? All right, this was a player who appeared in just over half the games he dressed for, scored 71 career points. It's a player that multiple times in his career, essentially came to my office, called me out, said he didn't, agree with my decision, thought he was working hard enough and could help the team more than he was being afforded the opportunity to. It's a player that left those meetings multiple times, pretty frustrated, one time pretty angry and hurt. And because I told him, I know you worked hard, I love you, and I decided, and I've continued to decide, it's probably going to be best for the team if you play less, actually. All right. So he didn't thank me for that necessarily. All right. He didn't thank me, for the 3 NCAA tournaments he played in, the few games he started over his career. He thanked me because of who he met here. the relationships, the friendships he'll carry for a lifetime. I got a photo this summer of 7 guys running through New York City together, led by him because he's taken up running. All right, it was 7 guys from 5 different graduating classes in our program. And again, that doesn't happen without this experience. The memories he has that he'll treasure, the ways he grew, all right, what he learned about himself, all right, as a student, a person, a teammate, all right. He's a guy that came in thinking he was going to just study economics, go into banking, all right, pursued his passion for music, all right, and now writes his own music and performs around New York City while doing whatever else, his smart brain allows him to do to make some money. So all I really did was bring him into this Williams College environment, encourage him to be himself, pursue his interest, and challenge him to grow, all right, for the good of the group, the good of himself, all right. I was reminded of the same thing this past weekend, all right, the experience I had as a college athlete. 5 of my former teammates flew to town from Oregon, Iowa, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., to surprise me for the weekend. Most of them had never been here. We just laughed, caught up on stories, caught up about our families. All right, so when our wives asked, how are they doing, we had something to bring back to them. All right, and just a reminder of, again, what really lasts. All right, I can tell you based on the 18 holes of golf we played, we do not remember much about our stats. We definitely don't remember every game we played. All our memories are different for a lot of that aspects. All right, but we do remember those people, the challenges, the lessons, and everyone that shaped us, all right, during that time together as a college student athlete. All right, at Williams, that's our job as coaches. All right, it's what we all are striving to do. We want them, your sons and daughters, to just grow as leaders, as people, to form relationships, all right, that outlast all those great results they're going to have and the disappointing ones. All right, and to be a part of that community that teaches them humility, resilience, selflessness, everything else they're going to hopefully take with them and apply to whatever industry, all right, they become leaders, all right, and great members of. All right, so what am I saying to you all as the parents? As Lisa just said, everyone has sacrificed so much. Your sons and daughters have, you have time, work, all right, to get here now. You should be really, really excited for what's to come. All right, experience it fully, all right, and enjoy it. Enjoy it, all right. We've all seen, people that haven't been able to do that, all right. So, at those moments, you're going to have them. Some of you are going to do better at it than others, but fight those moments, those expectations of results, those, selfish thoughts, all right, that come from a good place of, he deserves more shots, playing time, stuff, whatever it is, all right. I'll only be happy if I get minutes, points, playing time, accolades, or she expected to have a bigger role than she's being given right now. All right, if you keep the focus, perspective, all right, on the growth, on the relationships, on the community, all right, it can really be rewarding 4 years, all right, not just, all right, for your sons and daughters, all right, for you too, all right, like I said, it can change your life. All right, the people in this room, the people you're going to meet can change your life. All right, so embrace it, experience it, enjoy it. Congratulations on being here. I know I can't wait to watch all your sons and daughters compete in all their different sports, get to know them, maybe if they take P3-on-3 basketball with me, all right, and really kind of compete, all right, in our community over the next 4 years. So congratulations again, go East.
Wow, Kevin, new speech crushed it this year. That was amazing.
40 now, big font.
Yeah, we're old. We need bigger font. Yeah, tough act to follow. Welcome to Williams. Welcome to the Eves family. If you don't know that it is the Eves, that's what we are, the Purple Cows. We wear purple proudly. For some of us, we've known your child for years at this point. For some of you, I'm sure you're just getting to know your coaches. Everyone's sort of at a different phase of the process, but no matter what, we're just really excited to get started. We can't wait to get to work with them, obviously all of us at different times, but we're just really excited to get going. And I think the biggest thing to remember is for most of the student athletes, this is the last stop on the train. Right, so you've done the clubs, you've done the high school sports, you've ran around like everyone's alluded to, and now what I love about coaching at this level is it's a chance to like finally play the sport because you love it. Okay, and that's what I try and remind myself as the head coach every day is like, I just want to foster like that love, that pure love for the sport in them. And I think like as parents just remembering like it's a chance to just play the sport they love for 4 more years. And that's what we're here to do. And then the bonus is like everything else that comes with it, right? And so the liberal arts education is the best. That's why we work here. We think Williams is one of the best schools in the country. We think that being part of an athletic team like only enhances and enriches their lives, and it gives them skills that then on the back end, like it's those 4 years to set them up for the next 40, right? So we're just like, we feel so lucky to work here and work with them. But we're not gonna like sit up and here and lie to you and say it's gonna be like that straight line that, you know, it's gonna go super smoothly and everything's gonna be, you know, really easy for them. I think if that's true, it means that we failed as their coaches, right? We haven't pushed them, we haven't challenged them, and we've all seen those, you know, graphs where it actually looks like the peaks and the valleys, right? So that's going to happen, and they're going to need you, and the same way, like, my children think I'm the best person in the world some days and the worst person in the world the others, right? That's gonna be the same for me with your child as their coach and anyone as their coach, right? It's just, that's the normal part of having someone that they love and look up to, and that is challenging them. So that's where we need you. And then I think the big piece I always talk about is all the resources that Williams has is to support them. So the academic resources you will hear about today, and they are absolutely amazing. Someone will read your paper for free before you turn it in. Someone will, you know, work with you and tutor you one-on-one for free for everything. So there's no excuses in that realm, we always say, but even on the athletic side, I mean, we have sports psychologists, we have an iWise program, we have college nutritionists, we have a full-time strength and conditioning staff, we have dedicated sport medicine staff. So they will be looked after, and there's going to be a time where they will need each of those people in addition to us coaches, and I just want you to remember that we have all those resources. So when they feel frustrated with us, like Kevin spoke about, or they feel frustrated with you pushing them to speak with us, right, just know that they have all these other people that are here that care about them, to support them through this process, and hopefully through those ups and downs, because we want them and we need them to be getting better every year for 4 years, right? It's not like we're taking 10 transfers into every single program every year, right? That's not the nature of this place. The nature of this place is for people to grow, to get better as humans, right? And so we're going to challenge them to do that over the course of 4 years. And then I think like the other big piece I always remember is like even my All-American who went on to play pro hockey, or I'm sure some of the former men's basketball players that are in the NBA, one's playing in the NBA, one's coaching in the NBA, like no one ever calls and asks us, oh, like what were they like as an All-American? How many minutes did they play? Oh, when you won that championship, what did she do? No one has ever asked me that, and no one will ever ask me that. They ask me like, was she a good teammate? Was she a good person? Was she coachable? Is she someone I can depend on? Right? And whether they go on to play at the professional level, which very few of them will do, right? Or all the med school applications rewrite, all the law school, grad school applications rewrite, we're basically teaching them a 400 level course for 4 years, right? Very intensive, very integrated, and we really get to work with them, and then that's why those recommendations on the back end mean a lot and carry a lot of weight. And that's why we work with them to be able to say those things from the you know, deepest sections of our heart and mean it. We want to know that we've set them up to be really successful and go out in the world and make it an amazing place, and we'll need your help to do that. And if you have any tips for me, come up at the end of the meeting and say, here's how you can get your 7 and 3-year-old into Williams. I'm ready to hear it. That sounds amazing. And so you've done a huge part to get them to this point, and then just trust us to get them the next 4 years through it.
I'm pretty loud, so if you can't hear me, let me know. I'll pull the mic up. Welcome to Williams. I was thinking coming in here, just saying before we started, this one hits very differently for me this year. Of all the years, this is my 24th year as a head coach, 13th at Williams, of welcoming first years. This weekend, I'm dropping my daughter off to college for the first time. And so from the parent side, I have all the feels that I'm assuming you have right now of excitement, pride, sadness, like all balled into one. So if you have any advice for me on how to make the drop-off day go out, please come let me know as well when we're done. You all are about to find out, and experience why this is such a unique and special place, and the commonalities you're hearing. Williams is unique and special. Yes, there's tremendous resources here, but it is special because of the people. The people that your children are going to meet, whether it's students, faculty, staff, they're just incredible people that are here. Anytime Lisa or anybody asks me to talk about our team, I am like, let's go. Let me talk a little bit more about us. And you hear the same strings through all of the programs here. Our team members hear me say all the time, love your journey. And what I mean by that is, like, we will set really big goals and aspirations every single year as a team and individually. And we want them to chase those goals and aspirations. We will celebrate when they go really well. We have a thing called a PR dance. Like when someone jumps the highest they ever have, run the faster, teammates literally get around them in a circle and dance around them, and they tackle them on the pole vault pit or the finish line, and celebrating each other. Those are all awesome. But the most impactful part is the journey. And by journey, I mean the day-to-day, the week-to-week, the month-to-month of what they're doing. We all know that everybody here is incredibly aspirational. They wouldn't be at Williams if they weren't driven and striving for big things. But we also know once they hit that thing they're chasing, they're like, yeah, that was awesome. And they immediately reset the goalpost standard. They push it a little bit farther down. The joy that they feel from hitting that achievement is very short-lived. And that's why we want the journey to be, like, that's where that joy is sustainable. That day-to-day, the week-to-week, the month-to-month. Our program values, presence, effort, empathy, connection, they all revolve around how do we enhance the day-to-day. Because we all firmly believe when you enhance that day-to-day, that's the most impactful part. It's also setting you up and putting you in the best position to go after that thing that you're chasing. That, again, once we hit it, we reset and go after the next thing. And that's where we want to put that effort. That's where we intentionally create these teaching environments between 4 and 7 that we're all doing and focused on. And that's the biggest part. Like, we want them to love being present for their teammates and themselves. We want them to love putting effort into their own journey and their teammates' journey. Love having the empathy to meet someone where they are and really dive in deep and develop that relationship. Because again, having that relationship is what's going to enhance the day-to-day of what they're doing. And so for us, that journey, we are a journey-driven, relationship-driven program. The people, those relationships, that path, that is what makes it fulfilling. As my colleagues here were saying, at the end of the year, if you come to any one of our end-of-year awards banquets, they're not, for us, we have younger team members talk about the graduating seniors, and not once have I ever heard them say, oh, when you earned this particular award, it's never that. It's, you know what, my first year you made me feel, fill in the blank, and they talk about a story of maybe they're having a lot of anxiety the first couple weeks of class and something an older team member did. And that's where the power is in what we do while we're chasing these big things. And so, as parents, how can you help? Continue being present for them. When they call, hopefully every week they call you. And if my daughter's listening or finds out, I hope that happens. Just continue being present for them. Encourage them, just take a breath. Take a moment and just focus on what that next step is that they're doing. For any students that are here, I can't see if there are anybody here, but my advice for you is, again, you're going to learn how incredible this community is and the resources that are here. But my biggest words of advice are, every single team member, every student that is here is going to have challenges this year. I can't tell you what context those challenges are going to be in. There are going to be academic challenges, there's going to be athletic challenges, there's going to be personal life challenges. Probably all of them will happen multiple times, and that is okay. You are not alone. Please remind your children they are never alone. All of the resources that were talked about, whether it's entry mates, JAs, teammates, captains, coaches, dean's offices, the list goes on. There will be challenges. Everybody will face them. They're never alone is the most important thing. So being able to ask, just go and talk to people is really, really important. That's all I've got. Good luck. Love your journey. Looking forward to it. And any advice, we are here and ready and waiting.
Pretty impressive, right? So I'm pretty excited I get to work with these guys, and as I said, they're representative of the coaches across our staff and the passion they bring, and you can hear the caring they have for their athletes and for the students here, and providing them the support and journey that is going to make this, extra special, a place that's already fantastic. Just a couple of things that I just wanted to mention before we turn to questions, which are occasionally as parents, you'll get some emails from a parent group maybe. They might tell you, hey, here you can buy some swag, here we got a tailgate, hey, you can send money to do this. I want to tell you, you don't need to send money to anybody. They will be tailgates, all that stuff is optional. You don't need to buy stuff, you don't need to support the tailgate. You can if you want to, those are events for parents mostly. Student athletes food is provided by the college, and the coaches' food, so that's all set. We have a fund. We don't buy all of the equipment that student athletes need, but for students who are on financial aid, there is a fund to help them buy necessary pieces of equipment that they maybe don't have the funds for, and they'll get an email about how to do that. So again, providing the equipment, feeding students, that's on us. So just know that we're on that. At the same time, it is fun to gather with parents post-game and post-competition and get to know people. 2 years ago, we added what we call the pasture, because everything here is cow-themed, which is a fueling station where the students can go and graze, again, to give them a little bit of an additional nutritional supplement to their meal plan. And as always, this year's always, our goal is to build and maintain strong, inclusive team connections where we support athletes in their emotional and physical well-being, and creating a space in particular where students can find joy in their chosen sport. Most people started playing sports or kept playing sports because it was fun. It's fun to run around with your friends, it's fun to be active, and we want them to still feel that, even with all of the goal setting and all the things they're hoping to accomplish. It should fundamentally be fun, even as you're being challenged. And again, I look forward to meeting all of you in person somewhere on the sideline or at some event, and really excited to get to know your students over the next year and next 4 years. And now we'll turn it over if anybody has any questions for us about anything we can answer for you.
You mentioned sports nutrition, or athletic nutrition, or whatever you called it. So is that something that, do those experts come to each team and talk to them, or is it something that an individual student or coach will reach out and say, this would be useful for this particular athlete? How does that?
All of that happens. Sometimes coaches will have somebody come and speak to the team, especially if team members have maybe asked for it, or a coach thinks there's a need. Varies a little bit by sport. There's one-on-one nutritional support that students just can access themselves, or occasionally, either a coach will initiate it or a student will initiate, hey, I'm struggling to find the right food in the dining hall. I'm struggling to get the right calories, to get the right balance of what I need, and it'll hook them up with help to get that taken care of and supported. Yeah.
So my child who did not want to play sports in college, and then came at me 3 days ago screaming that I actually made a mistake, and I do want to play sports in college, and had had received probably a general email that went out to the entire college about walking on to crew. He did not fill out the appropriate paperwork for that because he wasn't doing sports in college. Is it too late?
It is not too late. It is not too late for crew. Yeah, just have them reach out to the coach and let them know that they're interested and fill out the form now.
So we can still get that paperwork done in time for him?
Yes, and I would send an email immediately to the coach saying, hey, I didn't do this, I'm doing it, can you add me to the information?
Right, we just learned about the sickle cell test today, otherwise
Yep.
we could have the paperwork done.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And is there a place to get a test for sickle cell on campus?
I don't know how that works.
I think the health center knows.
Well, that's what I said. They will know, and they'll be connected with sports medicine who runs through and whether they get that done. Yeah.
Is there a system in place if athletes need to miss classes for either postseason games or, games in general? And what does that look like?
Yeah, there's system is probably not the exact word that we have. Some places do have that. So first of all, we try really hard to schedule as much as we can to minimize missed class time. Williams College is a little bit unique in what we have called this division of the day. So 4 to 6 is always blocked out for athletic practices. For games that we can play during that time frame, we do play them there, or we try to play some night games so they're not missing classes, rotate the day of the game and so on, how much can we do on the weekend. But we tell all the student athletes what they need to do is speak to their professor as soon as possible, identify the conflicts, usually the coaches have done that, share with their professor, these are the potential conflicts, do that as soon as possible, do that in person, tell them, hey, there's here also possible postseason dates because they're unknown. Professors really want to hear about it up front. It is at the professor's discretion whether they will excuse from the class or not. Mostly they do. Make sure you know the attendance policy. So going into it, and some professors will tell you up front, like, it's not going to be okay that you miss class, so you got to figure that out, and others will be super accommodating. It varies a bit by the professor. But it's really on the student to have those conversations as soon as possible. Yeah.
Might have missed earlier. For travel, events or tournaments, is that provided by the school?
Yes. Yep. All travel to away contests are provided by the college. Yeah.
Is there a consistent system for streaming athletic events that is available to parents?
Yes, good question. Almost everything is streamed on NSN. Some of our racket sports are on PlaySite. And if you go to the website, the Williams evesports.edu, you will find the link to all the contests and also to our a lot of our opponents too. And any of our NESCAC, there's a NESCAC app that you can just download, streaming app, and any, except for Tufts, any NESCAC institution pretty much streams all of that on that same app for home and away games. NESCAC is the conference, New England Small College Athletic Conference. I realize I'm so used to these acronyms, you may not know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
The multi-use room looks like it's almost done. Is there a date?
Yeah, that should be opening in January, which will have indoor tennis, 200-meter track, and the field events in there, climbing wall. What am I forgetting? Baseball, softball, batting cages are the main uses for that facility. That should, it's on track, it's on budget, we're super excited about it, and hopefully we'll be in there in January. Well, I know you are absolutely anxious to see your students before you leave. Thank you for your attention. Again, feel free to drop an email or give a call if you have any further questions. Really, again, welcome. Look forward to meeting you.